The Who. I mean, that's got to be one of the best rock tracks ever, isn't it?
Oh, there's no argument.
Did I sound like Dr. Fox again?
A little bit. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. We're going to get a Sony Award this year. Carl, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, yeah.
Yeah? It's good to be back, isn't it?
We're doing Rockbusters in a bit, what?
Have we got Rockbusters?
Well.
Hallelujah!
I'll tell you this, new listeners. New listeners won't believe their luck when they hear Rockbusters.
We've got Rockbusters. Have we got, well, dare I say it, have we got Monkey News, Carl?
Well, I've been away, haven't I? So, I've sort of got a few things that I've read about roughly, but I don't know the full ins and outs.
You're joking, because usually you do your research quite well, don't you, when you get off Ann and over and read the top line.
So what are you saying, though? Are you saying that it's kind of Monkey News?
We might have time to do something later.
Well, we've got to have him Monkey News.
I love it when he teases us with his Monkey News.
We've had emails about that website address.
Oh, yeah?
It was a what's the name?
An underscore. Okay, so give it out one more time. Now go to this to find out about Karl Pilkington. Someone's put in a lot of effort. It's a really good website. There's some great pictures of Karl.
Well, they're not great. They're just freewebs.com/the_k_man/
Okay, forward slashes all the way.
Yeah.
Except the underscores.
Except the underscores, yeah.
This is interminable. Isn't it interminable giving out email addresses?
I know, yeah.
Rubbish, it's so boring.
No, yeah. Oh, dear. Is he enjoying the show?
It just says, I love spending 2 hours on a Saturday listening about fingers of passes, doctors squeezing testicles and making you cough. Have you got any news on the airy Chinese kid? So.
Well, when you say it like that, some of the stuff we cover does sound a little bit of, drivel.
Well,
sometimes.
Yeah.
Carl was worried about swearing, because after we were talking about finger at arse and that, he's generally worried. And I don't have a problem with swearing, although I understand why you can't say certain words on radio. It might be offensive if people aren't listening. I mean, the F word, the C word and all those. But when they bleep it out in a record, they bleep out the vowel. So in the F word, they bleep out the U, so it goes, beep. Right? So they go, it's not offensive, I didn't hear the vowel.
Presumably, yeah.
So if you change the vowel, it's not, do you know what I mean? So, in the C word, could I say, could I talk about the philosopher Immanuel Kant?
Well, you can talk about Immanuel Kant because he's one of the great thinkers of all time.
So Kant is not an offensive word, because the vowel is different, is it?
Leave it then.
No, do you know what I mean though?
But I don't see how it can be offensive.
You can't, it can't be, only. He's a thinker, he's a philosopher, his name is Kant, that is his actual name.
Yeah.
I think it comes from a long line of Kants, from what he hasn't changed his name, I think his father, his grandfather,
they're all a lot of German people.
Oh, Germany's, I assume, full of Kants.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Well, what else was
So you can change the vowel. So could I say, probably
not.
What if I change 2 words? What if I said cump? C-U-M-P. Now that's not offensive at all, is it?
That can't be offensive.
So I could say, you fucking cump.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I need a schnit. That would be fun.
Wonka, Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
You got, although Willy, is Willy offensive? Could you say Willy?
It's tricky.
Willy Wonka and his fucking cumps.
Yeah.
That would be fine,
That would be
wouldn't
absolutely fine.
Is that alright then, Carl?
You got any other questions or anything, Steve?
Well, it's not so much a question, but it's something that I think might be of interest to you, Carl. I was reading about this in the paper, and I know how fascinated you are by people of the Japanese persuasion. 2 elderly men found on a remote island are believed to be Japanese soldiers in hiding since 1945, desperate to go home. Diplomats from Tokyo are investigating the claims of these men, who are 87 and 83.
What? What are you thinking there?
Well, no, go on.
I know what you're thinking. Go on. Say what you're thinking.
I'll be that old, though.
Why? Why? Say why.
I don't want to. Just leave it.
Carl's got a theory. Well, I mean, I don't think that this is fine. I'd say that Carl's views don't reflect the views of XFM, right? Carl's got a theory that Oriental people don't age well.
Sure. Let Carl.
But that annoys me the way. Yeah, but I think
what?
People will probably agree with me. But for some reason, the first time I said that, I wasn't even worried about it. But now, because of the reaction of people, I don't understand. I don't know why I can't say that.
What's your theory? Explain your theory in a nutshell.
Just like you don't see sort of a 33-year-old Chinese person. No, but at the same time...
What do you mean you don't
yeah,
see a
but I'm not
33-year-old
having a go.
Chinese
At the same time, you don't see that many fat ones either. So, in a way, that's good news. Nobody would be upset about that.
But what do you mean
But
you don't
your
see
news isn't bad news, because it's not true.
But wait, stop. What do you mean you don't see a 33-year-old Chinese person? I don't understand. What do you mean you don't see them? What do you see then?
Sort of, you know, young ones. And then, like, you don't see that middle ground.
I don't know what this theory's based on!
So you see old ones and you see young ones, but you never see any in between.
Yeah.
What do you mean? So what's the oldest Chinese person you've seen before the age of 33? How old do you think?
About 22.
22, so you've seen lots of 22-year-olds, so you've seen range from babies to 22-year-old Chinese people. That's fact, okay? And then what gap do you miss out? When do they pop back up on the radar for you? What age has a Chinese person got to be older than that?
Well, 49.
They're always so specific. What do you mean when you say they don't age well? What do you mean they don't age well? You mean that middle-aged ones look old?
Because you think at 23, when they start 23, happy birthday to you, and they look up, and, oh jeez, it's 52. What do you mean?
No, I just mean they don't age that well. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what it is in them, but they just don't... Alright then, here's the question. You tell me of a Chinese person on the telly who's about 32.
Tell me of a Chinese person on the telly first. Give us the great gamut of Chinese talent currently on British TV, right? And I'll pick and choose. Go on then.
Bruce Lee?
How long has he been dead, Bruce Lee? 70s, wasn't it? And
Unbelievable.
not really on the telly much, was he? Okay.
What age was he when he died?
33, I think.
Well, I would have never guessed that.
Well, what do you think? How old do you think he was?
Probably about 42.
What, you know Burt Kwok?
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah. Do you remember the Pink Panther films?
No.
Okay. He wasn't that old in them, because it was 60s, 70s.
But how old did he look, though? If he walked in and someone said, you never guess how old he is, what would you have said? Right then, there's my point then. There's my point.
I have to say, I've been listening to you two talk, and I like the idea that there's people who've been waiting 18 months for some of this. for the Kant discussion, the Orientals.
Do you know what I think? I think, Kant, as a philosopher, is very popular in Essex. Because I hear him saying his name all the time whenever I go through. What? They're all shouting this and that. All shouting.
Kings of Leon on XFM.
Carl.
Gervais Merchant Karl Pilkington. Carl, dead air.
Talk!
No, I'm just looking at it now.
Yeah, but that's no good on radio! You can't just look at something! You gotta talk!
Is he even more backward than I remember?
I don't know.
It's just that someone's emailed in.
Yeah, so you gotta tell the listeners that.
I'm telling them now, I'm doing it. Someone's emailed in from Tokyo, saying that he's getting married in a few months to a Japanese woman. She's 27. Just want to know how long I've got so she starts looking old.
Well, how long do you reckon, according to your theory?
About... Probably about 4 years. About 4 years and that. So...
What would you advise him, to get out now, or...?
Well... Have some good sort of wedding pictures done and that.
Carl! Carl! It's not true! The theory's not true!
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Oh yeah, great. In 4 years' time, he's gonna send a picture going, oh, you're right, Carl. Look, she looks like a prune. What? He's gonna suddenly start saying his girl, it's not true, it's not gonna happen.
It's that thing, though, innit, of looking at her mum. There's a lot of truth in that, isn't there, that you shouldn't really meet up with your girlfriend's sort of parents and that.
Sure.
Because you just sort of get a little taster of what's to come and what have you.
And what's to come with yours?
It's a good job I didn't meet her early on. No.
You're gonna be in such trouble!
No, they don't listen. It's alright.
Really? Well, Suzanne does, doesn't she?
She'll probably be out.
Really?
But she knows.
She's got some sense.
Yeah, when you get back! Yeah. You went on holiday with them, didn't you?
Yeah, we've been on since then now, haven't we?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I went on holiday last week, been away, but that was just me and Suzanne. Talk about that later. What about Plato?
Right, Greek.
Right, now, would you say he's a bright bloke?
Yes, I would. I'd say he's a very, very bright bloke.
Right, let me tell you this. right? If he's that bright, you know how he got killed?
No.
Got hit on the head by an egg.
Fucking hell! Well, he's
Right,
not so clever then, is he?
That's what I'm saying.
Boo!
What's the story with the egg?
He was on holiday or something, right? And
He was on holiday.
In Greece, probably.
he was having a walk about, and a bird was flying over the sort of.
This
over the
bird
beach.
was what? A great auk? What size bird killed him with his egg?
It was a big one, yeah.
Was it?
And the way they used to crack
An ostrich on a hang glider.
the the eggs open to let the kids out, they used to drop them on rocks.
What bird is this? Dropping its egg to let the kids out? You're a maniac! You are a maniac!
And Plato had a little bald head.
Right.
So from the top, the bird's there looking down, and it goes, oh, there's a little rock, I'll drop the egg. Hit him on the head, killed him. Now, this is what I was saying before about...
I'm letting too much go now, because I'm so desensitised to his nonsense. I let him go. The bird saw Plato and said, there's a rock down there.
Yeah. Well, if these birds are killing people with bald heads, you've got to be terrified.
So, but listen, this is what I'm saying though, right? Before about knowledge and that, how knowledge is hassle, or success is hassle.
I think that was Newton. Knowledge is hassle.
Now, but why is Plato's intelligence got anything to do with the fact that this bird dropped an egg on his head?
Because he was intelligent, and he's probably earning a nice few quid
Yeah.
by giving out whatever messages he gave out.
Yeah.
He could afford to go on holiday to exotic places. If he was working in a factory, he wouldn't have been on this beach with big birds dropping eggs, is what I'm saying. So, in a way, it backfired. His knowledge killed him.
And that, I think, was Kierkegaard. His knowledge killed him.
He shouldn't have been on the beach. He was only there having a break or whatever from doing what he does. It wouldn't have happened if he wasn't on holiday.
This is an email we've had saying, Carl, what do you take by the well-known saying, a stitch in time saves 9?
Oh, a stitch in time saves 9. Yeah.
See, it's another one that I don't think I've picked up on a lot of these sayings that are being sort of thrown about willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. Okay.
Willy-nilly.
No, but I, again, it's one of them like last week. I've heard of it, but
But what does
never-
willy-nilly mean?
It just sort of means,
Oh,
carefree.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, but
that's
what
good.
does a stitch in time
So
save
you
9
understood
mean?
willy-nilly, so you used a
Yeah, but it
phrase.
sounds
I mean,
nice,
you used
doesn't
it,
it?
you said it willy-nilly, but you sort of got the gist of it. So what does a stitch in time saves 9 mean?
I don't know.
What do you
must
mean you
know.
don't know? Think about it. A stitch in time saves 9.
Is it to do with sewing?
Well, yeah, sort of. So
It's not that clear.
So if you got a jacket,
Yeah.
and the seam starts coming undone, oh, there's a little bit of seam. I'll leave it. Oh, it's getting worse and
Right,
worse. Soon
right.
your sleeve falls off. So you just need 1 stitch there. That'll do it. If you do it now, later you'll need 9 stitches, and that, of course, is an analogy to other things.
But it depends if you're busy at that point, because if you've got something else that needs doing, that means that isn't being done because you're messing about sorting out a hole in your coat. Is what I mean.
Yeah.
You can't always do stuff straight away. So maybe, I don't know if there's a sort of a middle ground where you don't have to do it straight away, but stitching
A stitch sometimes
time,
today.
say in 15 or whatever, meaning you don't have to do it straight away, but just do it before it gets really bad.
Brilliant. Do you think yours is less poetic than a stitch in time saves 9? So yours is, this is what you wanted to be a quote, right? Where, well, you could do it now, but if you're doing something else, then, don't do it immediately, but do it soon so it doesn't get really bad. Karl Pilkington.
No, but it's the same. That's the same way I treat most things in life. It's like I never go to the doctors unless it's really
That is sensible.
bad.
That is very good advice.
No.
That's brilliant advice
Well,
for
it
anyone
is, though.
listening. Never go to the doctors.
Unless it's really bad.
But that's why a lot of people, die because they don't want to bother the doctor, or they're mildly embarrassed, or they don't know symptoms, bad symptoms. Go to the doctor if you're not sure about something. Like you were terrified to go and have your prostate.
Still not doing it.
Why not?
I wish you wouldn't talk about it because now Suzanne will listen to this and she'll go, "Oh yeah, you haven't been," and start dragging it up again.
But why are you worried about a qualified
I
doctor?
don't know what they're doing up there.
What they
What
just
year
pop
are we in?
They. What are you talking about? They pop their finger up.
That's what I mean, though.
Why?
Why are they still using the index finger?
What, would you prefer the forefinger or the thumb, would you?
No, what I mean is, we've got...
Or a thumb on a stick, some kind of thumb on a stick.
Yeah, would you prefer it to
a
be...
mechanical thumb, a robot thumb.
Why isn't it just a little camera?
Well, they put the camera up if they initially discover something.
But just put the camera up straight away. If I'm
No,
paying
they
for
don't
the
need
visit.
to. They pop the finger up, feel that the prostate isn't swollen, wiggle it around a little bit up your back passage. What are you worried about?
I don't think they need to do
Are
that.
you embarrassed?
In
Are
this day
you
and age.
embarrassed about being in a room with your trousers around your ankles and a little fella popping
A
his...
little bit, yeah.
Why?
And the other thing is, it's not just that, is it? So you go in there, they check your heart out and that, which to me is the most important thing, because that's what keeps you going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You've got to go there. You
Yeah.
sat on the bus, stressing out, thinking, oh, in less than half an hour, I'm going to have a finger up the arse, right?
What is the problem?
And they go in, they check your heart, they probably check your testicles and that.
What's up with that? They check your testicles, yeah? That's...
Yeah, but it's all building, and you've sat there going, oh, soon that'll be happening.
Yeah.
And that's what puts me off.
So if they just came round when you were asleep, Suzanne just let them in and goes, he's over there, right?
Yeah.
And they crept up and went, bang, you go, what are you
prefer
doing?
I just don't understand why they don't teach you how to do it yourself.
How can they...
Wow.
They did! Imagine you squatting in a corner with one hand on your bollocks and the other finger up the arse going, it seems to be alright.
Carl, you don't understand the phrase "a stitch in time saves nine." I don't think you should be doing any kind of invasive medical research in your own human body.
But then...
Who knows what trouble you're going to cause?
No, but then at least...
You would get stuck.
Yeah.
You would get stuck.
Suzanne would come out, your fist would be up your own arse. Harry from Canterbury wants to know whether any of us have ever had any cruel nicknames. He claims that he's quite tall and rather hirsute, and he says he's often called Lurch or Wolfie. He's always thought that Carl looks a bit like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's no potato that round. But, I suppose you could fashion a potato to be that round.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, if anyone can carve a potato into the roundest head ever,
Yeah.
pop a couple of eyes on it.
Make it look as much like Carl as possible.
Exactly.
But yeah, any nicknames? Did you ever have a nickname, Rick?
No, mine was boring. I didn't have any. It was just around the name, like Gerv or something like that. No, I didn't have nicknames.
I always wanted a nickname. I just thought it was quite cool for some reason, particularly because gangsters always seem to have nicknames. You
Lefty.
know, Fingers,
Yeah.
Lefty, yeah. Scarface.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I thought, because no one was giving me a nickname at school, it was kind of annoying, or certainly not to my face,
Yeah.
that I decided to just come up with one.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was at lunch once, and I just said to my mate Phil,
How old were you?
12, 13.
Brilliant.
I just said to him, Phil, don't know if you know, mate, but people aren't calling me Steve anymore. Everyone's calling me Spud now. Now, I don't know why I thought Spud, it's weird, we should talk about Mr. Potato Head. I don't know why I thought Spud was a cool nickname. I think
It's a grown-up name, though, isn't it?
and it's also because I think it sounded like it was probably either something that you'd find in one of those kids' books, like the Famous Five, or like the Bash Street Kids. There'd be Spud, and I always imagine with Spud, he's not the leader of the gang, but he's a reliable member.
I think
You know what I mean?
Spud is the biggest lorry driver in one particular sort of car park.
Yeah.
And here comes Spud.
Yeah.
And he gets out, right, boys. And he's big and massive, and Spud can eat 2 breakfasts.
Exactly, yeah. But I just, in my mind, it was, that I would be one day part of a gang, and it's, I'm Pinky, this is Jojo, and the tall guy Spud.
And it didn't catch on,
it
did
never
it?
really caught. And he just went, oh yeah, right. And no one started, and I was hoping he'd go, everyone's calling Steve Spud.
Yeah.
But of course-
Hey, Spud, the first time I said Spud, you go, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be really proud, wouldn't you? No.
Did you have a nickname?
Not really. I mean, there was a lot of people on the estate that I grew up on. You know, nicknames are big things on estates and that.
Yeah.
A lot of my dad's mates, right? What their nicknames did was tell you about them. Do you know how I said about the Elephant Man's a good name?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know what you're going to get. If someone said, Elephant Man's popping around in a bit, it wouldn't be a shock when he walked in.
Yeah.
Right? So it worked in that sort of thing. You know, so there was John the Screw, right?
John the Screw?
Yeah.
Whether he had sex a lot or he worked in a prison.
No, he had a DIY shop.
Because I
Absolutely.
I thought I was going to switch on and find that actually, people like Abby Titmus and Rebecca Lewis had been misrepresented by the press.
Oh, what, the one that wanked off a pig in public? Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that? Did you say wonked off?
I said wonked off
you said
a
wonked off,
pog.
yeah.
Wonked off a pog. Yeah. Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
But I mean,
It's amazing, Rebecca. I mean, don't even get me started on Abby Titmus. Don't even get me. Don't.
I like the idea of her parents perhaps going to, you know, some kind of, you know, someone's birthday or whatever, meeting some old friends who've been away living in another country.
Yeah.
How's young Abby? Is she still a nurse saving lives? No, she gets her tits out for a living now.
Aren't you funny? Yeah, Rebecca Lewis, by her own admission, I don't know if it's true, but she said she sleeps with a married man, then sold her stories to papers, then wonked off a pog, right? That's a hell of a CV, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to
that. Is amazing. I bet her nan's very, very proud of her.
Yeah.
Oh, God, don't, just forget it. Don't get me started. I'll be watching every night for the next 10 weeks. You can't not. Is it? My adrenaline rushes. And you get. Oh God! I just tune in to see. It's almost like you tune in to see which one gets hurt.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Emotionally scarred.
But maybe one of them will come through. Well, we'll find out. We're always going to be exactly. We're going to find out that one of them was like had a really, really bad childhood, and we feel sorry for her for a little bit, you know, like the Jade Goody syndrome or something. And oh God! Then they release an exercise video. Oh, Carl. We got to get in on this. Oh, imagine Carl in Big Brother.
That would be a joy.
That would be amazing. But you turned on and you hated it, didn't you?
Yeah, I gave it like 3 minutes and it's gone. There's always something better on though. You annoy me that you watch it. You moan about it now, but you watch
I know.
it.
I know. Yeah, I know.
There's always something.
I really did not watch any of Celebrity Love. That was just too awful. I think the celebrities are worse than general public though to me, because if they're so desperate, they want 9 little bites of the cherry, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Or at least these people, you know, they think that they're gonna get out of their job they don't like, maybe, or you know, it's sort of like. I give them their 15 minutes, but it's, oh, God.
But there's always something, I mean, when we were out the other night, Steve, right, there's a programme on about, a spider that's a foot long and eats chicken. No one's talking about it.
I don't know where to start! What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, well,
I'm sorry, I had to stand up because I thought I was going to explode. What do you mean there's a spider that's a foot long and eats chicken?
There was a programme on about it, about how there's this spider in the jungle or something, but I missed it because I was out, but no one's talking about that in the papers. To me, that's a worry.
That's about why? In case it nicks your Sunday roast. What do you mean?
Well, no, but if it likes chicken now, Rick, you know, in like 2 years' time, who knows what it might
I know, it move up the evolutionary ladder,
No.
it start liking Carl, then humans.
No, I'm not bothered about the chicken bit, because I eat chicken, that isn't that shocking, but the fact it's a foot long, and no one's, it's just on a Thursday night, no one's talking about it.
What do you expect, though? What do you expect from this? It's got its own PR. What do you want? What do you want this spider to be famous? Where is it? Where is it?
In the jungle.
It's not worrying anyone then, is it? It's not gonna move.
Well, why?
It's not
it can,
gonna.
though.
What do you mean?
What do you mean it's not going to move?
Well, how's it gonna get here? Is it gonna get on a bus?
There's waves and that, they come in bananas and all that. So, don't worry about it. So, I'm not, if you're going to be like that.
Anyway, listen, we better line up Babushka, we better play that surely, because I know you need to analyse those lyrics. That's very important to you, I know. We've still got that cork, hitting.
Oh, cork on their head's gonna be great. We're gonna put his little head down and really give it a firing.
Sponsored by Lindauer Sparkling.
Jess's Girl by Rick Springfield. The reason I played that is twofold. One, it's one of the prizes we're giving away. It's an album called Rock Gods, and that's with a Z, right? And an umlaut over the O.
Yeah.
And it's got Kiss, Judas Priest, Deep Root of the Darkness. I mean, it really is good. It's all your classic, rock tracks. The other reason I want to play it is because I like that song. It's a great little up-tempo bubblegum pop song, rock, you know, great. But it's got one of the worst lyrics in it. He's worried about, bringing up the fact that he loves his girlfriend's, his mate's girlfriend. And he goes, I'll bring it up, he goes, I tell her that I love her, but, the point may be moot.
Just you don't use that in a rock song. The point may be moot. Well, I was listening to Christian O'Connell on the Breakfast Show when he had this bounty hunter thing running a couple of weeks back, and I don't know what happened, but anyway, he ended up with Brian Adams in the studio doing a live session. Brian, you know, good natured or whatever, but you can't help but feel with Brian that he thinks that he's Bruce Springsteen. But there's something wrong. I mean, he's got the voice and the guitar, he can play and everything, but there was a lyric, and he played it completely earnestly, and it was a session, and the lyric was something, it was from his recent album, and the lyric was along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was along the lines of, I'm sat in my hotel room, there's a knock at the door and I get kind of nervous. I'm hoping it's you, it's just room service. Which is extraordinary, but Christian came up with the best, they finished it, and obviously Christian was thinking, what would I say? And he came up with the best answer if you've had a session that you're not entirely convinced by. He just said quite simply, "That sounded great."
That's good.
Which is amazing. Who are you complimenting there? The engineer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, the sound recordist, what does that mean?
That's great.
That sounded great.
Yeah, good, we got some good mics.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian Adams. Is it true he bought the pub next door to him and closed it down because they were noisy?
I hope so.
Yeah, that's what money's for.
Oh,
That is
exactly.
what money's for, isn't it?
Absolutely right.
Waking up the neighbours. That was his album, wasn't it?
That was right.
That was, I don't know if that was before or after that, whether it was related or not.
But if you buy a house next to a pub, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So move, rather than ruining the fun for everyone.
It's more good advice from Karl Pilkington. Karl, while we're talking to you, we should give these answers to Rockbusters. It's the big quiz. And of course, the winner this week goes forward to play in the grand final in 6 weeks' time, where they get to win all those amazing gifts. We've
A signed Homer drawn, especially
stuff,
for Karl by Matt Groening. Nigel Tufnell signed rare poster. They're amazing. Should we give away a sort of, maybe a original print of behind the scenes of extras? We got some amazing pictures filming extras. I was thinking the other day, you know, like how excited I am to be with Karl and let off corks on his head. Well, our editor, long-suffering editor Nigel, we'd worked with Ben Stiller, Kate Winslet, Sam Jackson, all these people for 8 weeks. It was amazing. But my highlight, I thought about it, and my highlight was dressing Nigel up, our editor, in a baby grow.
Sure.
It was, I planned it, we got the department, costume department hired it, and we dressed it, and it looked brilliant, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just,
And that is BBC licence fee money going towards you dressing up your editor. Because you didn't pay for it. The BBC paid for it, so that is how your money has been spent, people.
But it's available on the DVD again.
Exactly.
Nothing's wasted.
Which you have to buy for 15 quid. Sure. So yeah, it's a win-win situation.
It's the whole thing is one big reality game show, isn't it?
XFM 104.9 playing Green Day. The studio's falling apart.
I know, his microphone broke, then
I'll be honest
mine
with you,
broke.
Rick, I don't know why Lindauer's, the sparkling wine, want to be associated with this shambles of a show.
It is falling apart. This is awful, this studio. It's got to be fixed. Right? Right, now, Karl, come round here. It's the time where I'm going to let a cork off. Do you want to film this, Steve, for
Yeah,
the
let me
website?
just
That'll be
take that
available on the website next week, rickygervais.com, so see Karl getting hit. One bloke suggested we leave the metal cap on, because it's get a better pitch. But we'll take that. He's staying.
Hang on, let's get the camera ready.
Get the camera ready. Ready?
So if you've just joined us, we are using some Lindauer's sparkling wine to basically, what can I say? We fire a cork at Karl's round
ready?
head.
Ready?
Hang on a sec. Let me just put the headphones on.
Alright, film this then. He's in position, look.
Just firing
right.
up.
Okay, Karl, come on there so we can see your head a little bit. We want to get the noise, the microphone there. Right, ready? Hold on.
Good. So you're just doing it.
Hold on. Now, it's in position. What if it... Oh. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, God, it... Oh!
Oh, it's like Jackass.
Did it hurt?
Behind me.
What do you mean, did it hit you?
I sort of just...
It went off course, did it? Just glanced, did it?
Right, Lindauer's, you're going to send us 8 more bottles, please.
Yeah,
so we're going to get this right.
Yeah. Kings of Convenience. Beautiful.
Yeah.
On XFM 104.9. Well, that's nearly the end of our first of 6 shows,
I'm
our
just thinking
summertime
back to
special.
some of the highlights, Rick, so far today. I don't know what you've made of it. We
Finger at the arse.
Finger at the arse, testicles early on.
Orientals don't age very well.
Bit
Bit of racism. Bit of racism with the Germany's full of cants.
Yeah, that was
That isn't
highlight.
swearing. Cork on the head, got champagne down the electrical works. So good. Just the finale is it's monkey news, obviously.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey news, yeah.
There isn't, I've been away, haven't I?
Oh, there's been no monkey news. You can't get.
No, but I haven't had a proper chance to sort of, you know.
Karl, your monkey news is of spurious tales from the 17th century sometimes. So let's have one of those.
No,
let's have a monkey who dressed as Zorro and they thought he was a woodsman, but when they took his head off he was a 4-foot hairy chimp. Let's have one of those ridiculous stories.
Well, we've done that though. But do you want to go back on some of the ones?
Oh,
sort of
just
recap?
what is the monkey news? There must have been some monkey news this week.
The only thing that sort of stood out, do you know, like, they're having problems...
You're just making this up. Where's your information? Where's the piece of paper? Where's the document? What is this?
Because I've been away, so I haven't got
Right,
anything.
let's
but
It's bad enough when he's reading it, he gets it wrong. When he's just riffing, it's going to be absolute twaddle.
Let's hear it out.
Right, do you know, like, they're having problems getting new people to be policemen?
Oh, fuck.
Go on.
They've, in America, they're taking them on to, sort of join the SWAT team.
They've taken what on?
Some little monkeys.
Okay.
Giving them walkie-talkies and all that. And,
Well, they can't talk.
They're just walkies.
did I have to
Yeah, giving them some walkies. What do you mean?
They're just
What
being
was...
given commands and that? And, they're good
What,
at-
so it's one way, they tell them, they've got the little thing
well,
strapped to them.
they're good at, like, getting into small, sort of, you know, small places and that, and sort of, you know, cracking stuff and all that. Like I say, it's just half a story I just picked up on.
That's not a story!
Well, what do you want?
Monkey news!
Well, I'll get some better stuff next week, but I've literally, like, got off a plane.
This is the worst, this is one of the worst shows we've ever done.
And that's saying something, Rick.
This
We've done some tripe.
This is nothing. And to end with the police in America have given monkeys walkie-talkies, that's nothing. That is a disgrace.
And what do you mean that you've not had enough time to prepare? We've been off air for 18 months.
Yeah.
What, there's been no accumulated monkey news in that time?
It's got to keep it fresh, though, hasn't it?
Great, well, what do you...
Maybe
Well, I think that's a good rule of thumb. Don't annoy them. But I mean, but that is a hell of a sighting, isn't it? We asked for a Chinese homeless, and they gave us a Chinese midget homeless.
Many of the listeners are aware, Carl, that you're sort of fascinated by smaller people.
Well, he's fascinated by difference, I think.
Yes.
I don't think he's having a go at people. You're not
Never having a go.
when you sort of stare at someone because they don't look like you, and let's face it, most people don't look like you. You're not having a go, are you?
Well, like
You-
I say, the first time I saw Steve, I was never having a go. It was just, oh, that's different. but you know, like you know, Steve, I was never having a go. It's just that thing of, oh, right, interesting.
What do you mean?
No, just you know, I've said before about I've got used to it, and
Steve
it's the
got
same.
used to it. What do you? What
I
you
don't know. Well, you know my feeling with this. I don't really know where he's coming
but
from.
Steve
with it.
knows I'm not having a go either.
Yeah.
Carl used to carry around a book that was called the top 50 freaks of all time.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that because we actually had an email from Richie who says that he's been a fan of ours for many years and he's listened to lots of the radio shows we've done in the past and things. And he says of all the people you've discussed, Carl, in the past, including some of the people from your kind of odd magazines, who would you most like to spend the day with of all those people that you've encountered?
Favourite of all.
Well, certainly who you would want to spend time with, who you feel would be the most fascinating, the most interesting. You know, I mean, let's just recap on
Well, there's
some of the...
Pillow Man, the bloke with no arms, no legs that can roll a cigarette with his mouth.
Yeah.
No, not impressed with him.
That's not sufficient.
What about the three-legged juggler?
So hang on, let's just recap. This was a man with 3 legs?
3 legs, right?
Right.
And it said his job, he became a juggler.
Okay.
Not using the gift that he'd been given.
What would you what you suggest?
Anything, running, swimmer, just
Yeah.
But yeah,
What else
what
was
are the
there?
others? What are the other ones?
There was a picture of a gentleman you were fascinated by him. He used to play the piano.
Oh, he's got a tiny head, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's that. That's the one who he sort of ages fast.
Right.
So like every other week he's having a birthday and stuff. And yeah, that was weird.
He's not having a birthday every other week. His body's just aged, so as the appearance, his biology is sort of like he's 70, but he's only like 15. They don't have a birthday every week. You idiot.
But yeah, I don't know about knocking about with one a long time though. That's
Only for a day?
suppose it depends what I'm up to. Because if we're going out and about, the Pillow Man would just be a bit of a drag.
Whereas if you're going for a walk across, the 3-legged guy, ideal.
So yeah.
Lots and lots of people emailing just with questions for Carl. Just a couple of quick ones for you, Carl. Wendy says, if Carl had to eat the same dinner every day for the rest of his life, what would he eat?
You see, it depends, doesn't it? I mainly eat just so I keep going. I'm not that bothered about, because I don't really taste it anyway. I just shove it down.
You're like you're like a horse.
I mean, to be honest, it annoys me the way people worry about food now and how there's so much to choose from. I think it's got out of hand. I'll watch.
Any form of choice really worries you, doesn't it?
No,
you
it's
don't
just-
like choice.
No, choice is good, but not too much. It's like with anything now. If you go into a toffee shop, there's like loads of
Sorry?
different.
Where are you going to find a toffee
So
shop?
you're in a fairy tale.
You're in a Dickens tale in the 19th century.
You're in Shrek. And
And you go into a toffee shop. What are you
what's your
doing?
point? You go into a toffee shop.
What I'm saying, you go into a shop full of toffees.
You've just come
and
from the
stuff,
candlestick maker.
right? You go in there, and there's just too much choice. It's like what, and I can stand there up to like 4 minutes, sort of going.
Up
You know,
to 4 minutes.
So specific.
4
So
minutes.
he's in a toffee shop in a top hat.
Well, he's only got 4
going-
minutes. He's only got 4 minutes because he's got to get down to the pea green boat that he's sailing off in.
Yeah.
No,
Good
but
morrow.
well, forget the toffees.
Could I
right?
have some of your finest Oxfordshire toffees?
So you'd prefer it was just one selection of toffee? That's all they've got.
Well, maybe two. What I'm saying is, right, there's now too much choice. Whenever you get a menu in a restaurant, it's not like you don't just go, oh, right, what is there? Yeah, I'll have that. There's too much. It's like a book, and you look at it all. And then you've got to that point now that people are even taking a risk when they're eating.
What do you mean?
You know, in Japan or China or something, they're eating that fish that if it's not cooked right, it can kill you. Right? Not worth the risk. And there's so many other fish.
Yeah, I agree. Why
Have
are
mackerel, have a bit of cod or whatever.
Yeah,
As soon as there's a risk, take it off. Take it off the
I
menu.
agree. I totally agree.
Not worth it.
We've got a fish that might or might not kill you. Well, is there anything that definitely won't kill you? Yeah, but a chicken won't kill you.
I'll play safe then. I'll have that.
I love that. I love the chicken.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway, we were talking about sayings and that. Right? Stitching time saves 9. Don't. You know, I'm never going to use that. I don't think anyway. Okay. Suzanne.
You're
does
never
me-
going to understand it fully, are you?
Suzanne repairs me stuff anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But what about the one? About the one in greenhouses and that? Isn't that
People who
a
live
good
in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Well, I'm intrigued to know if he's fully got to grips with this. Just
Okay.
give us your explanation again of what you'd take that to mean.
one? Well, just don't be chucking stuff about. Really?
So, well, if that was it, they just say that.
No, but that saying's been around a lot longer than we think. That's when people probably did live in basic glass houses and stuff.
No, whoa,
What they mean now-
Who has ever lived in a
Sorry,
glass house?
So cavemen went from rock to a nice crystal structure, did they? What are you talking about? When did people live in
Well,
glass
no,
houses?
what they mean now, when that saying's used now, they mean sort of, you know, plasma tellies, ornaments.
No, they don't.
They're saying don't chuck stuff about because
No,
you'll break it.
no, it's not about damaging your own property.
They don't mean you're inside the glass house throwing rocks inside your own glass
It's
house.
a metaphor. Carl, what is an analogy?
It's sort of like a little story told quickly. Isn't it?
It's a
It is,
little
though, isn't it?
story told quickly. To what end?
Well, it depends what the story is. You see, I just prefer sort of, you know, what you say is what you mean. So people who live in a glass house have to answer the door.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Because-
you may be a genius, because I don't get that. People who live in glass houses have to answer the door.
Okay, let's hear his explanation.
Because the people knocking at the door will be able to see you because it's a glass house.
But you have to add a number of other things, other caveats. Surely, if you live in a glass house, don't walk around naked.
Yeah.
If you live in it.
These are literals.
But just the idea that in your head there should be sayings for people who live in glass houses. Who is it that's living in a glass
No,
house?
well, I'm not talking about them. It's just that if everyone else is bringing up about these people who are living in glass houses, let's get to the real problems they've got.
He still hasn't got to grips with the idea of the
No, but it's-
metaphor or the simile.
Well, here's another saying, right, that I learnt recently from a mate, right? Oh, there's an elephant in the room.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but explain it to me.
It's like how, you know, whenever we go out for something to eat or a drink or something, it's normally after about 5 minutes the sort of topic gets onto the shape of my head.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's interesting how, like, I'm the elephant in the room, right? Nobody's talking about it. You mention it once, suddenly it's the talk of the town. It's what I mean. Everybody starts joining in, going, well, yeah, it's round, but it does suit you. And these are people who I don't even know sometimes, and they're all dipping in. And that is an elephant in the room.
So you don't want people to discuss the shape of your head or the lack of hair. You would feel better. You would feel happier that they didn't mention that.
Sometimes I think it's better that it's out there. it's made me a stronger person, though. It's the same way, you know, we were talking about religion and that. Samson Delilah,
Yeah.
he got weaker without hair, whereas with me, I think it's made me stronger.
But would you ever wear a wig?
Not really.
What
I
was a
mean,
long wig like Samson?
well, the only time I wanted a wig was when I did jury duty once, wasn't it? And it was annoying that I was sat on the jury, right in front of, like, these criminals, right? Everybody else has got disguises. The judges have them wigs on, right?
That's not
It is a
disguises!
that's a disguise. That's why judges wear them, right? So
No! Well, then what if they print their name in the paper and have a picture? What do you mean it's a disguise?
it's a disguise, isn't it?
No, if it was a disguise, they'd go in with one of those glasses with a nose and the beard attached. If it was a disguise, all judges would look like Groucho Marx if it was a disguise.
Well, I'm just saying that's what annoyed me when I was sat there on the front row, right? I couldn't have been any closer to the criminals, right? I was sat there and I thought, why didn't I just pop a little wig on or a pair of glasses?
I would have loved to have seen you in the front row at Crown Court.
No,
I'd
because
love to see it because in this country you're not allowed to show pictures of jurors. You can't take photos in a courtroom, so there's always these sketch artists that draw drawings, and it's on the news. The idea that we'd have seen 11 people and a sort of Krusty the Clown figure would have been amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see the artist do an interview, because it would be like complicated people. Oh, hey, he looks characterful, and then just a little round
Charlie
head.
Brown.
Charlie Brown sitting on the end.
He was on in newspapers and on the web for a while. He was about 135 or something.
Carl, look, it's, you know, Carl's got a theory that Chinese people don't age well. This man was a Chinaman, right? And he was 120 or something.
Yeah. Did you see a picture of him?
yeah,
He's
he was-
still
he was
alive.
on- No, he's not.
No,
he's
no,
dead.
is he not?
No,
He's
died,
dead.
died at 120, so...
He said 120 or something, but makes you wonder.
Go
What
on.
makes you wonder?
Well, because they don't age well, I think he's using that.
What,
He's probably about 37.
Oh God! Honestly, we walk down the street, right, and we see an elderly Chinese person,
Yeah.
right, and Carl would go, "Oh, I just think he is."
Yeah.
Like it's not.
I don't understand this notion that Chinese people don't age
Yeah.
well. I don't know where this has come from.
No, I mean, I'm not having a go.
No, of
right?
course not.
I never want anyone to think I'm like having a go at them. But they are really good looking and they're healthy and that. Till they're about. I've never seen one, right? Can you tell me if you've seen a Chinese person who's about 30? It's either 20 or 50. There's no middle ground.
This is what I came back for. This is 2 hours of absolute drivel from
sorry-
the brain of Karl Pilkington.
Let me just check something. So the Chinese gentleman who died recently was 130. Your theory is sure. Your theory is that he's maybe in his late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
This is an elaborate conspiracy on his part, because obviously whenever they talk about the oldest people in the world, it is always a Chinese person.
Yeah,
invariably.
they do. Yeah.
I mean, they seem to win that
Again.
every year.
Go on.
So your theory is that in those small backwater villages in China,
Ross McWhirter comes to a little
Yeah,
village.
they go, the
and
Guinness
he
guy's on the way.
goes, well, until recently, the oldest person in the world, how old are you? And they're so embarrassed, because they think they look about 120, they go, 120, they go, really? They go, yeah, can I have his birth certificate? No. In fact, I think this Chinese bloke it wasn't verified with the conspiracy because he didn't have his papers.
didn't have his papers, no.
So,
Is this the same one or a different fella
I think it
trying
might be
on?
the same guy, I'm not sure. Trying it on. So there's a huge conspiracy amongst these Chinese villages that every
when
time
you get to about 50, say you're 70. Because no one will believe us.
well, if you can confirm or deny that, then please email in ricky.gervais@xfm.u.
This is the Racist Joe on XFM 104.9. Call in if you're anything less than just a little mank. Outcast, Hey Ya on XFM 104.9 with me, Ricky Gervais. You, Stephen Merchant, GQ Presenters of the Year.
Radio Personalities of the Year.
It's official.
We're the best radio personalities of the year.
We got that award sent to us, didn't we? We did
Yes.
a little thing. But it was only our two names on it.
It
so-
has your name, Rick, definitely. I remember that. It had my name.
and your name.
Didn't see Carl Pilkington's name anywhere.
No. And yet he's the one with the day off and the money and
got the
the
free day
conning
off.
the MD and making him cry at home.
Let me
with his
just
mate.
remind.
Go
Can
on.
I just check that
Go
again?
on.
So he's made a fool out of the MD
He's made a fool
and
out of
all
the
the
MD,
major, basically all the
this
capital
shit
shareholders.
about, oh, I'm not sure if I'm coming back or not. I want a day off then, which is the same day off as his girlfriend gets off. So he's just like walking round, I don't know, Hyde Park, just feeding ducks, when he should be working out what he can do instead of Rockbusters, which is basically Blockbusters with a word changed. Christ's sake. Right,
If that's annoyed you, I'll tell you what is really wound me up.
Go on.
The last week or so, this postal strike. I tell you, Rick, I have got no sympathy for him. I'd be a scab. I'd be walking through there and I'd be giving him the finger. I go, you can intimidate my family. I don't care. I don't care because the post has got to get through. Because I tell you what, it's not the fact that the unions, they could organise a strike. I'm behind that. It's fair enough. But not when it's these wildcats. They're just out there, they're just taking days off, willy-nilly, they're sealing up the post boxes, it's going crazy.
Maybe Carl could deliver a few records Monday.
Well, I know Carl must be livid, because his copies of The New Scientist and the Literary Review haven't turned up, so he's in a terrible way. And, I got important documents that are supposed to be coming to me, there's nothing, there's hiding a hair of it. And I was cooking last night, and it got me panicked, because I was thinking about, if this just is going to spread now amongst other organisations and other groups. And do you know what?
Like a cancer.
It was partly because I was cooking. Yeah. But you know, I suddenly become terrified that they might go on strike.
Go on.
The guys in charge of the potatoes.
Oh.
Anyone involved with potatoes.
I had so much
the
mash
farmers.
last night. I had so much sausage mash, at second helpings, that I had to sit on the edge of a seat so my stomach could hang down. I love Spuds. Spuds and bread. I could not do without Spuds and bread.
I feel like maybe I could make my own bread. Spuds, I wouldn't know where to start with a spud.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're amazing. You can boil them, you can broil them.
Yeah.
I don't know what broiling is,
Nor do
but I suspect it's tasty.
I don't think it's as good as, I mean, obviously the chipped potato is
for the working classes.
It was always on. The chip fat fire was always on in my household. The ceiling, the death trap fire, polystyrene ceiling was yellow.
Exactly.
Come Wednesday in our house.
Yeah.
And, always had chips.
Because all I remember hearing, if I think back to my childhood, all I remember was, gotta stop and get some potatoes, or phone your dad, tell him to get some potatoes.
Well, that was your job, wasn't it?
Yeah, the potatoes. Yeah. I mean, it does concern me, because
what did you have to do? Didn't you have to fill a diary out for your teacher?
Do you know when you're at school, I don't know if you do the same thing, but you get like a little red book, right? And every night, I think it was a way of the teachers sort of keeping an eye on you, so if you went out robbing, if you wrote it in your diary, they'd go, what you're playing at.
Sure.
Right? So you'd have to write down what you did every night.
Yeah.
But I didn't get up to that much at that point.
Sure.
I used to just go on my errands.
Yeah.
And it was my job to like...
I haven't heard errand since the 70s.
Nice to hear that.
I went to U-Phase, right, the little local supermarket.
Yeah.
And I got...
What's it called? Euthanasia? What? I did...
U-Phase.
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 Yeah.
H-U-G-H. U-Phase.
Oh,
it's his name.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I
U-Phase,
just had to get like a bag of potatoes.
Of course you did, yeah.
And a loaf.
Staple.
So, I used to put that in my diary every day, and it got to a point when, like, even the teachers were like, just make something up.
Yeah.
Stop putting the same thing in.
Start joyriding or something. Live!
I remember when Jane was little, she was at school, I think it was about 10 or something, like, do a project over the week, and they were given a big list, like a list of 100 animals that they had to tick when they saw one that week. And the teacher knew she cheated because she ticked beaver. So she was trying to win and get a bit, but she knew, unless it was Susie Dibblethwaite's beaver.
I know
the school slut. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, so,
it feels like the potato people have got me over a barrel. You know, I mean, they could hike the prices up. I still have to buy the potatoes. I got nothing else. I got to have that. You know, you got your fancy pastas for the upper classes, but for the working classes, it's chips or mash, isn't it, really?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't worry. I don't think people who do potatoes are going to go on strike.
You don't think so?
Because we just go and pick them ourselves, don't we? Or grow them ourselves.
Sure.
What would be the most pointless strike? What would be the strike that we went so? Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you one strike that would go so. Those guys who do sketches in Covent Garden. Yeah, take me a picture, or they do a caricature of you.
The strike, imagine the strike! You go out and you go, well, I want one with a big nose and a big chin.
I want them using caricature of me and my sister.
yeah. Oh dear.
But I need a sketch, I need a pencil drawing of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Looking like a monkey. I mean, how are we gonna get this? This is unbelievable. Yeah,
I'll tell you also, the strikes that have no effect.
What?
Those, people in nightclub toilets. Who just, you know, kind of there, they got the Lynx deodorant sprays.
Oh, no, quite controversial at the moment, with, the Tweedy case.
Oh, the Cheryl Tweedy case.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure, I got some thoughts on that actually.
Like what?
Or maybe we play a record I'll share my thoughts on.
Well, thought,
On Tweetster.
coming up, some Steve Merchant thoughts on the show, Tweety please. That's FM 104.9.
Some R.E.M. Rick?
What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency, Kenneth? I'll tell you, it's 104.9 XFM. I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington. Karl, the user Pilkington.
Just takes.
Takes. Destroy the man. Go to you, Steve.
You should talk like that more. It's cool and sexy.
Thank you.
I make it clear now, I do not condone in any way, shape or form what Cheryl Tweedy did. But I have to say, they wind me up.
By they, you mean toilet attendants?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
not
not-
Pop Idol winners.
That's what I thought you meant, yeah.
Yeah.
So, go on.
But, because I'll tell you what it is, you go into a club or pubs, or big trendy pubs, you go in there, and there's the toilet attendant in there, he's got his little display of, aftershaves, sprays, some sweets maybe,
Blue straw
whatever it might,
and maybe a
blue
lollipop.
straw, maybe a lollipop. And, alright, I don't know if I assume they're not employed by the club, I'm assuming the club's got, we got the DJ, we got the bar staff, wait a minute, we need a guy to irritate them in the
when
toilet.
the manager walks in, do they hide?
Well, this is it, I don't know if it's a guy who's just like,
Is it like busking?
yeah, he
Do they
snuck
just
in.
like, yeah, okay.
He came in when it was free during happy hour. He's got a little bag, carrier bag. He snuck in the toilet. But the thing is, it's the fact that toilet attendants, fair enough. I mean, I'm happy if a toilet attendant sneaks in under cover of darkness, cleans it for me, and then shoots off. But it's when I have to see them there. I feel
know.
guilty because I've got. It's like I maybe wash my hands. I'll forget he's there. He'll hand me a paper towel. Suddenly I got to tip him like a quid or
It
something.
annoys me because
just out of
I
piss.
wash my hands at all. I don't usually wash my hands.
never wash my hands.
I sometimes don't even bother getting my knob out. I do it while I stand and change my trousers when I get home.
Exactly.
So it annoys me I have to go through this charade of getting it out, slashing out of it, shaking it dry, and then washing my hands.
See, if he did any of those elements,
What,
I'd
shaking
tip
it
him
for
a
you?
quid, yeah.
Pop it out.
But
yeah.
not to hand me a paper towel and get it myself. And
I know.
it's just guilt. And sometimes I'll hold it in because I'm nervous. I don't want to go back in there.
What
It's
annoys
costing
me
me a
is that,
fortune.
like a posh award ceremony, it's a pound a piss.
It is a pound of piss.
Do you know what I mean? So I
Or in
sort
a
of like-
top hotel or something.
Yeah.
It's absurd. And I'll tell you what's worse than that. I know that he's doing it because he's got to feed his kids. But it's the fact that I've got to look him in the eye. You know,
Yeah.
it's like he's humanised. You know, if he was only dehumanised, Rick.
Yeah.
If I could see him and I didn't think he was a human being, I wouldn't feel guilty. If he
know.
could sort of hide under the urinal, perhaps, or if
And
he could
just put
hide
a
underneath the
handout
sink.
like thing from the Adams Family. He just puts out,
he
you
just
know,
pop a hand out, doesn't say anything,
with
just
a
hands me the
glove,
paper
so you don't
towel.
even see, like, you know, hand it, and then I put a pound in, I take the thing, put a pound in, nick a lollipop and run away. No aggro.
Exactly, it's the fact I gotta see them and I feel guilty because, you know, I'm on the radio, I've got a cushy life.
I know.
Here's a guy who's just trying to make ends meet. It makes me feel bad, it ruins my evening.
Yeah.
I'm just pleading for them, can they not do it anymore? Can they maybe get a job, illegal mini-cabin or something? Please!
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
And you're this skull on a hospital bed going, I'm not having that, I don't like the look of him, he looks a bit shifty, oh, I don't like that, oh no.
Can I ask this now? Let's say we passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. You know, it's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you, at the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this though, Steve. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another booklet.
It's from Anne-Marie. She says that she loves the podcast. She listens with her 7 months old baby. That cannot be a good idea. And she says this to you, Karl. If you had children, what is the most important lesson you'd want to teach them?
I mean, in a way, if you sort of look after a kid too much, it doesn't learn that much. But if you let it learn by its mistakes, it'll probably grow up all right.
But there are some mistakes you can't afford it to make to learn from.
Yeah, driving a car the wrong way down a motorway.
Testing if the fire really is hot.
No, but say like the time...
Does broken glass really taste horrible? These are lessons you don't want it to learn from
Yeah,
mistakes.
you can tell them that.
Yeah,
but what I
exactly.
mean is, there's certain things that I just think there was a kid who grew up in our avenue, right, on the estate, who, when it was born, right, we kind of thought it's got no chance, this kid, because its man was a bit of a rumman. You know,
A woman, where's that?
no, just like, you know, she like going out and having a fag and like having a drink, and she's never at home. It's the one who had the horse in the house.
Sure.
Which I don't want to go over.
Sure, it's old news,
It's
yeah.
out there, isn't it, if you want to find out about the horse in the house. But she had a kid, and everyone was pretty surprised when they saw it, because it was a good-looking kid. She was surprised, because, like, you know, the man wasn't that good-looking, the dad was a bit rough. But it came out, and she was showing it around the avenue, going, look at this I've had. And she was chuffed with it, because it's probably like one of the newest things she's ever had, because everything else was always sort of
Second-hand.
second-hand and what have you, but suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went.
Right.
And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It what? It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North
stressful.
American Indian. What do you mean, patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
It's God, sorry! What do you mean?
Just that's what he did for his.
Sorry, did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. But all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least you can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it, and you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Oh, okay, right.
No,
Did
that
you?
time when I was in Wales, and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that,
Yeah.
I just picked up a big rock, right? Chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fella was walking down below,
Jeez.
and I missed his head by like inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or like off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons, isn't
Yeah.
it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Wait, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off there. I just picked it up and chucked it. And like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fella was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra.
Alright.
You live
Okay.
and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
That's great.
There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie.
I love that.
Good luck. Just let your 7-month-old baby roam about. Carl, a lot of people are absolutely fascinated to find out how you met Suzanne, your girlfriend of how long?
Ages.
Yeah. And they can't comprehend how, well, I suppose that there's any woman out there.
Well, there's someone
Who
for
would-
everyone, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's always my thing. And it's reassuring, I think. You know, we've chatted about the face transplants and that. You know, there's a face for everyone.
Philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really unbelievable.
No, there is someone for everyone, no matter what
Yeah.
condition you're in or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I read on the email, someone emailed in an old Chinese proverb. It's something about everything, no matter what it is, has got one talent. And that's the same way in a relationship, innit? That everyone, you know, there's always someone out there. And that I like the Chinese. There's another Chinese proverb that I learned on an email.
Go on.
He who cuts the wood up warms himself twice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then someone sent in that one about too many Chinese cooks spoil the broth.
Why is that's I don't know who slipped the word Chinese in there, but I heard it was too many cooks.
Well, it was
spoiled.
just all sort of Chinese proverbs and that.
One of my favourite on the same subject is a camel is a horse designed by committee.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's having a go at the camel, and it shouldn't. But it's just, you know, it's just a metaphor. And if you wanted to design a horse and you had that vision, but you let 12 people in the room have their say, it wouldn't come out as you wanted it to do, and it wouldn't be as good. A vision is more perfect than committee, because everyone having their say, it becomes anodyne, it becomes compromised. Whereas the best things you can do is have an idea and have a vision and auteur that.
Rick, can I just say now, I can tell from his look that he's thinking, which committee designed the camel?
Well, I'd say, why would you request the ump bit? Because that's just going to get in the way, isn't it? I mean, I've always said that about a lot of animals. It's like we've doubled up on a lot of them. We've chatted about elephants and mammoths, one or the other. And that's the same with a camel. I'd have that up there as what they're doing. They were good years ago in the Jesus times and that. Don't need them now. You know what I mean? We've moved on.
Well, not people who use camels to cross deserts.
What other? I'm
communities.
going to throw some animals at you, and you tell how you'd have improved them if you'd have been designing them. Okay? The octopus.
So I can now go back. I can look at them and go, what are they doing?
And where have they gone wrong? What's up with you? How could you improve it? Like the camel, you'd go lose the amp.
I'd probably give it a bit more of a body. Cut down on the arms. And give it some bones, because I don't understand all this. Getting in a jar is good. When does it want to get in a jar? It says...
Well, it only wants to get in a jar according to your stories.
No, but there's something that says it can get in a jar because it hasn't got any bones, but I don't know why it'd want to do that in the first place.
I can't even begin to answer that. Once again, you've claimed that you've read that they like to get in jars. I mean, how do they know that octopus like to get in jars?
Oh God, I love that you can improve on an octopus. Millions and millions of years of evolution, making it perfect for its surroundings. Okay, another animal for you then, Carl.
Giraffe?
What are they adding to the world? What are they doing?
Well, it's not about what they add to the world,
No, but
is
I thought that's what everything's about. It's about things are here for a reason.
The reason they're here is because they didn't die. That's it.
No, but there seem to be a lot of animals that are like...
Do you think there's a lot of cheating? Is that what you're saying? There's
I'm
a
just
lot
saying,
of
there just
doubling
seems
up.
to be a lot of doubling up.
Yeah, so you get it down to like 8 animals that represented all of them. Okay, who would get in your team? You can choose 8 animals.
This is what I'm saying. If I was Noah, I would have gone like, hang on a minute. I've just seen something that looks a bit like this. Let it drown and have a clear out. But he didn't. He was messing about saving everything.
He was instructed by God to save everything, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but if he's been given that job, for me, he's sort of manager of that job.
So you believe
with
Noah
management.
as well? You believe Noah happened as well, and he built a boat big enough to catch 2 of every species. You actually believe that as fact, do you?
Well, it's out there in book form.
Brilliant.
All right,
We haven't answered the question that we started with. How did you meet Suzanne?
just at work.
Thanks.